Camping is supposed to be a way to escape into nature and find peace. But as these real-life videos show, even a tranquil night under the stars can take a terrifying turn. Based on true footage and eyewitness accounts, here are 5 suspenseful camping encounters, caught on camera, that will make you think twice the next time you zip up your tent. A still from David Wheel's footage shows a black bear's nose pressed against the thin mesh of his tent at dawn. In late July 2016, camper David Wheel was meditating alone in a small tent by British Columbia's Capilano River when a slight rustling outside brought him out of his Zen state. To his shock, a large black bear had wandered right up and was sniffing around the entrance of his tent, with only a flimsy mesh screen separating man and beast. Wheel forced himself to stay absolutely calm, remembering that black bears are usually not aggressive if not provoked. Heart pounding, he quietly grabbed his phone and began recording. In the shaky video, the bear's snout pushes against the mesh just inches from Wheel's face, huffing curiously at the unusual human shelter. Suddenly, with a grunt and a shove, the bear collapses the tent pole, partially flattening the tent on top of Wheel.
Hey!
Trapped in the collapsed tent with a bare nose poking in, Wheel had to think fast. He knew any panic could trigger the bear. Still filming, he slowly reached for the only distraction he had, a smoothie he'd brought for breakfast. In a steady voice, he cooed to the bear, then placed the smoothie outside and backed away. The gambit worked. The black bear, acting more like a curious dog, lumbered over to lap up the sweet drink. While the animal was busy, Wheel quietly slipped out of the tent and retreated. He escaped unharmed and even recovered his shredded tent later. Wildlife officials, however, were not amused by the video. They warned that rewarding a bear with food, even unintentionally, trains it to seek out humans, potentially leading to dangerous encounters. Commenters online also scolded Wheel's judgment, saying he was lucky to survive and that the next person the bear approaches might not be so fortunate. In the end, Wheel expressed gratitude for the experience and hopes it taught others that staying calm is crucial when face to face with a massive predator. Imagine being jolted awake at 3 a.m. by the sound of claws scraping your tent zipper. That nightmare became reality for one camper, whose spine-chilling TikTok video captured the moment a bear tried to force its way into her tent while she was sleeping.
I don't know what to do. I'm alone out here and where's my bear spray? Oh my god. Why am I being stupid and not holding this for dear fucking life?
In the grainy night vision footage, the fabric of the tent visibly bulges inward under the bear's weight as it sniffs and paws aggressively at the door. The camper can be heard whispering a shaky, "Oh my god, there's a bear out there," as the zipper rattles and the tent wall bows with each push. Summoning her courage, the camper yelled and thrashed from inside the tent, kicking at the bear's silhouette. She hollered at the top of her lungs, a mix of terror and determination, and the commotion startled the intruder. There's a tense few seconds of silence, then heavy breathing as the camper peers out to see the dark shape retreat into the woods. A thin layer of nylon was all that stood between her and a wild bear, but her loud tactics paid off in this case, scaring the animal away. The short clip went viral on TikTok, racking up hundreds of thousands of views as people expressed their horror in the comments. It's a stark reminder of how vulnerable we are in a tent, little more than a soft taco if a bear really wants to come inside. Fortunately, this camper knew to make noise and assert herself, and she lived to tell the tale. But the terrifying video is enough to make anyone lie awake at night listening extra closely for any unusual snuffling outside the tent. Frame from the viral video shows Wyatt Pack, in red, angrily confronting another camping family at their site. Not all camping threats come on 4 legs. Sometimes the danger is other people. Over Memorial Day weekend 2018, a family's peaceful camp in Utah's Blacksmith Fork Canyon turned into a real-life horror scene when an irate stranger from a neighboring site stormed over. In an 11-minute video captured on a phone, 20-year-old Wyatt Pack is seen screaming profanity-laced threats at the Caballero family, whose truck had broken down near his reserve spot. The footage is disturbing. Pack looms over the campsite, berating the family with obscene insults and demands, even asking the father at one point, "What, are you deaf? Move your truck." The family, including 2 young children, can be heard trying to explain that they weren't intentionally blocking the site.
Does that thing start and drive?
Yeah, but they don't turn.
Only
See,
drive.
How does it not turn?
They
The
don't
power
turn.
steering.
I got the cover.
It's broke.
I got a contact to line it up.
Their truck's steering failed, but the enraged camper doesn't care. As the altercation escalated, Pack made a chilling threat. He can be heard vowing to burn them both to the ground if they didn't get out of his way, an apparent reference to the family and their trailer. To make matters worse, Pack and his friends were armed. Witnesses said he rested one hand on a handgun at his hip, while another member of his group flashed a pistol in her waistband. Essentially, a simple campsite dispute turned into a terrifying showdown with armed individuals in the middle of the woods. For 3 long hours, the intimidation continued off camera, though only part of it was posted online. Pack even attempted to extort the stranded family, initially demanding $200, then $40, to help tow their stuck truck out of the way. Desperate to defuse the situation, the Caballeros scraped together some cash and handed it over. Pack did use his pickup to haul their truck off the campsite, but not before traumatizing everyone. When the video of the encounter surfaced on social media, it sparked outrage and an immediate backlash. Thousands shared it, horrified by the bully's behavior. Pack, who, it turned out, was a local government employee, was swiftly fired from his job once his employers saw his tirade. Police also got involved. The Cache County Sheriff's Office investigated and ultimately charged 5 people, Pack and his associates, for their roles in the incident. The unruly camper himself was arrested and faced multiple charges, including threats of violence. Thankfully, the family was unharmed physically, but their relaxing weekend had become a nightmare scenario no one expects on a camping trip. The case stands as an eerie reminder that the most dangerous thing in the wilderness just might be other humans. Solo camping in a remote forest can be serene, until you realize you're not as alone as you thought. A travel vlogger, camping in his small truck camper in the Arizona backwoods, filmed a night of suspense that left even his viewers spooked. The YouTuber had settled in for the night, parked under towering pines with only the crickets and a crackling campfire for company. Sometime past midnight, his camera picks up an audible knock on the side of his camper, a sharp rap, rap, rap that echoes through the still night. Startled, he turns on his flashlight and steps outside to investigate. The beam illuminates only the skeletal trees and empty clearing around him. Nobody is there. Confused, he chalks it up to maybe a falling pine cone or a branch, until it happens again. Knock, knock, this time from the opposite side of the camper. The pattern is too deliberate for falling debris. It truly sounds like human knuckles rapping on the door. The camper calls out a tentative greeting into the darkness.
Hey!
Anyone there? No response. Only the chirp of insects answers. He circles the area with his light, heart pounding, yet finds no intruders or animals. For the rest of that long night, the mystery knocks persist intermittently. Sometimes a single knock, other times a slow scraping drag along the metal door that raises the hair on his neck. At one point, he returns to his campfire to find one of his folding lawn chairs oddly moved from its original spot, as if someone had quietly dragged it a few feet to a new position while he was looking elsewhere. It's the kind of subtle but sinister detail that would be easy to miss, yet it sends a chill through him upon noticing. The unnerving knocking continues every so often, seeming to come from just beyond the tree line where his light can't reach. Was it a person deliberately toying with him in the dark, or an animal brushing against the camper? He never finds out. By the time dawn breaks, the unknown visitor, whether paranormal or simply a prankster, is long gone. The YouTuber later admitted it was the most disturbing night he'd ever spent in the woods, and his video left viewers gripped. In the comments, theories ran wild. Some suspected a curious coyote or bear might have nudged the camper, while others wondered if a human stalker was skulking around playing mind games. A few even whispered about Bigfoot. With no evidence left behind, the knocks in the dark remain an unsolved wilderness mystery that plays like a real-life horror movie.
See, there it is again.
There are few things more terrifying while camping than waking up to the sound of footsteps circling your tent. That's exactly what happened to a solo camper high in the Appalachian Mountains, and he documented the ordeal in a YouTube video that will give you goosebumps. In the dead of night, sometime after 2 a.m., this camper is roused by the crunch of leaves and twigs under heavy footsteps. In the footage, you can hear him whispering in a strained, barely audible voice. "I think someone's outside my tent." The camera's night mode shows the thin nylon walls around him, beyond which an unknown presence is slowly walking around. Every few seconds, a twig snaps or leaves rustle, indicating that something or someone is circling. The footsteps are deliberate and too heavy for a small animal. The lone camper remains frozen in place, his breathing shallow. He doesn't dare unzip the tent to peek, fearing who or what he might confront. Instead, he stays huddled in his sleeping bag, knife in hand, updating the camera in whispers whenever the steps start up again. At one point, the steps stop right outside his tent flap. In the silent darkness, he holds his breath, convinced that whoever is out there is standing just inches away. The viewer can almost feel the camper's racing heartbeat as he waits for something to happen. An attack, a voice, anything. After a few interminable minutes, the crunching footsteps resume and wander off into the woods. The threat, be it an animal or a person, slips away unseen. The camper remains awake, heart thudding in his chest, until the first light of dawn finally creeps in. As soon as it's bright enough, he summons the courage to emerge and investigate. Outside, there's no sign of anyone, no boot prints or obvious animal tracks around the campsite. Whoever or whatever stalked his tent in the dark left without a trace. In his closing monologue, the shaken camper admits he has no idea what that was. Viewers of the video were equally unnerved. Some pointed out it could have been a bear or other wildlife. The Appalachian wilderness is home to many creatures, while others aren't so sure, noting that the pattern of the footsteps felt almost human. Since the camper never actually saw the intruder, the incident remains unexplained. The good news is he made it through the night unscathed, but lying alone in a tent as unknown footsteps circle in the darkness. That is the kind of real-life nightmare that even the most seasoned outdoorsman would never forget.